And good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you're having a great Monday so far. I'm having a good day, enjoying my coffee, reading N.T. Wright's massive new book, Paul and the Faithfulness of God. He has some really cool things to say in that. Of course, I don't always agree with him on everything, but I find his thinking stimulating. He's just a pretty careful and thoughtful scholar, and I really appreciate reading him. And needless to say, he kind of shakes up the scholarly world with some of his very conservative comments. Anyway, welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and this is what I call my morning musings. I've been sharing some thoughts with you on the already but the not yet. By the way, thank you so much for all the private emails. Some have requested that I put this entire series in a book and chart out the material that I've been presenting. That might be something for the future. I'm only involved in writing 3 books at the same time right now, so I don't know when I might get to that. Anyway, there is a theme, a motif that is found throughout Scripture that is, in my estimation, one of the most significant of all themes regarding eschatology. I have appealed to this theme repeatedly in my writings. I have made the comment in lesson after lesson, both at seminars and just even in debates, that I believe this theme is one of the most ignored themes in the entirety of eschatology, and yet it is absolutely inextricably tied up with the doctrine of the coming of the Lord, the day of the Lord, the resurrection, and the judgment. It is a theme that begins in Genesis and concludes in Revelation. Now, any doctrine, it seems to me, that begins in Genesis and concludes in Revelation and is found constantly through all of the books of the Old Testament virtually, all of the books of the New Testament virtually, really ought to grab our attention. And yet I have made the point repeatedly that even in the preterist world, it is mentioned, it is even presented, yet it is hardly ever emphasized to the extent that the biblical writers emphasize this doctrine. So you're going, okay, Preston, what is that doctrine? It is the doctrine of the vindication of the martyrs. As I mentioned a moment ago, the doctrine and the promise of the vindication of the martyrs begins in Genesis. It is found everywhere, especially in the prophetic books. Now, this subject alone would be a vast study. Pardon me. And I may present somewhat of a study on the vindication of the martyrs for YouTube and Facebook. But for now, notice this. Jesus, in Matthew 23, said the time for the vindication of the martyrs, all of the martyrs, all the way back to creation, that the time for that vindication had come. Ephesians chapter 4 seems, and I emphasize the word seems, to present to us not only an imminent, but an already initial vindication of the martyrs, which may very well correspond with the giving of white robes to the martyrs in Revelation chapter 6, to the enthronement of the martyrs in Revelation chapter 20, at the initiation of the Millennium. The point that is critical to see is that the vindication of the martyrs is absolutely 100% connected to eschatology. In Revelation chapter 6, the martyrs cry out for vengeance. They are told they must rest for a little while until their fellow brethren, who should be slain as they were, should be fulfilled. And the answer to their prayer is Revelation chapter 6, 12 and following, which is the great day of the Lord's wrath. Revelation chapter 12, Satan chases the seed of the man-child, seeking to destroy them. He has great wrath, knowing that he has only a little while. Until what? Until his destruction. Revelation chapter 20, the initial enthronement of the martyrs, the 1,000-year reign as they wait for the rest of their brethren who should be martyred, back to chapter 6, would be fulfilled. At the end of the millennium, you have the judgment of all. You have the rest of the dead. This is the destruction of Satan, i.e., the vindication of the martyrs. Well, when is that? It's the end of the millennium, great white throne judgment. You see, this promise of vindication of the martyrs, as we will see when we study this doctrine, is found everywhere in the New Testament and promised in the Old Testament. You know, in October of 2012, I was honored to give a presentation at Criswell College in Dallas, Texas. And my topic was on the preterist, or the fulfilled view of the millennium. My approach to presenting the fulfilled view of eschatology, the fulfilled view of the millennium, was to study the vindication of the martyrs. And I can tell you this, my presentation had a profound impact and is still having an impact today. I want to make a very special offer that I've already made to several people. A lot of people have taken advantage of this. I have the MP3, the CD, if you please, of that presentation that I made at Criswell College. You can have a copy of this absolutely free. All you have to do is pay shipping. $4.95. Go to PayPal. Send me $4.95. Say, Don, I want a copy of the Criswell presentation. Or say, the Martyr CD. $4.95. The CD is free. Look, I had some students at Criswell come up to me and say to me privately, that is the most powerful presentation I have ever heard. One student said, I do not know how in the world anyone could ever answer and refute what you had to say. And do you know what? Not one of the other speakers on the dais, including Kenneth Gentry, Greg Beale, Craig Blazing, Craig Blomberg, not one of them attempted to refute what I said in my lesson. Get a copy, order a copy. All you have to do is pay shipping, $4.95. Go to PayPal, send the money, send it as a gift if you please. Say, Don, I want a copy of the Criswell presentation on the Millennium and Martyrdom, and I'll get it right out to you. Hey, thanks for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. We'll have more on the vindication of the martyrs and the already, but the not yet, on the flip side. We'll see you then.